Hi, my name is Dr. Anita Matthews-Morgan, and I want to talk to you a little bit about a problem that we have with salespeople and in the sales world. You see, there's a big gap between the training that salespeople receive and what they really implement. I don't know if you've noticed that, if you're a salesperson, or if you've noticed it in your team. The performance after training might be really high, but then it kind of goes down. A while ago, Josh made this really cool video explaining why that is. He's going to explain a little bit about the mind to show you why there's that knowing-doing gap. Enjoy it.
Have you ever wondered why the sales training, or any training that you've invested in, doesn't work quite up to its full potential? You see, we see this all the time, that teams will go for sales training, they come back from it, they're just really excited about using it, and for a week or two, they're really on fire. You see a spike in your results, but then it starts to drop off. They stop using the training, they stop using the best practices that you and everyone inside of your company knows would help them get better results. They start falling back into old habits. And ultimately, the training that you invested so much money in doesn't end up paying off in the way that you expected to. There's good news. That training is still there, it's still active in their minds, but it just needs to be activated. It needs to be brought to the surface in a way where they can actually use it. So I'm going to show you today why that sales training is not working, and how you can actually activate the sales training, and how we can help you do that in a way that allows that investment that you've made to really flourish, so that your people start flourishing, your salespeople are doing the things that they've been trained to do already. Let me explain a little bit about the mind first. I have to start with this so you can understand what's happening. So the mind is really split into two parts, right? You can see it right here. You have the conscious mind and you have the subconscious mind. Now the conscious mind is the thinking mind. It's the educated mind. And for the purposes of this video, it's important to understand that this is the part of the mind where they store the sales training, right? So they take the sales training in, it goes into their conscious mind, they say, yeah, I can understand that and I can use that. Well, but they don't use that. That's because of their subconscious mind, right? The subconscious mind is really the more powerful of the two parts of the mind. It's the doing mind. You might say that the conscious mind is the knowing mind. It's what tells them that they know the information. The subconscious mind is what's responsible for everything that they do, okay? Down here is their conditioning. We like to call their conditioning their programming. People, just like computers, literally have programming, just like the software on a computer that tells them, that actually runs their daily behaviors, that actually affects their performance. So what happens is, these salespeople are learning the training. They may start doing it for a little while, but because they don't make it into a habit, and their habits are down here in their programming, then they end up not doing it over the long term. They let it go. Maybe they actually have some things here in the subconscious mind that are blocking them from using the training. There was a recent Duke University study that said 45% of what we do, what everybody does, including salespeople, is habitual. That means we wake up and we just go about our day. Now, some of these habits that they have, that your people have, are really serving them and helping them get the results they want. Some of them are not. They're like the virus codes in their programming that are keeping them from using this training. What happens over time is that they get to know more and more up here in the conscious mind, but they do less and less of what they know. It creates what's called a knowing-doing gap. You might have heard that term in your organization, that there's a gap between what they actually know and what they do. Now, in order to change this, in order to get different results and a higher level of performance, you actually have to help them reprogram their subconscious mind in a way that allows them to step into action in a much bigger way. You have to help them change their habits. You have to help them get rid of some of the thinking and some of the things that are blocking them from actually implementing these best practices inside of your company.
Now that you've seen that video, you realize that it's really not enough to know something, to go to a lot of training. If you want long-term change, you've got to help somebody change their programming. That's our specialty, helping people change their mental programming that keep them from peak performance. So we're going to be sharing lots of tips and techniques to how to change your mental programming so that you're a lot more successful.